I think I'm a cat.
You think you're in what way?
I just think so. What do you think I am?
Sure. I don't like the way you're staring at me right now.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
I'm Josh Horowitz, and today on Happy, Sad, Confused, Bill Skarsgard is back. He's not in murderous clown makeup or a evil vampire. It's just Bill today.
Just Bill today.
That's all I get.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, buddy.
It's not
just.
It's not just.
No,
well,
it's
fine. Right?
It's a gift. He is back on the podcast. NOSFERATU is the film. I'm practically on the payroll for this movie. You guys...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you need to give me something for my efforts.
You'll get a pat on the back.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You've seen the film.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Right.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been too long. 5 years since the last time you were on the podcast.
Yes. So it was, and that wasn't... Did we record that? I mean, we recorded it, obviously, but was it just audio?
It was. A lot has changed.
Yeah, so a lot has changed. You're moving up in this world.
Well, I don't know about up. Laterally, something.
You're moving laterally in this world.
But we had a pandemic. The family has grown. You've not grown, though. You're still as tall as you were, still the shortest Skarsgard brother.
Oh, no. I'm not the shortest.
I thought you said you were.
No, I'm on the shorter end.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've started at a really negative point. Here's a provocative question I've asked at previous Stupid Junkets. Would you rather be 4 feet taller or 4 feet shorter? I can wave a magic wand, Bill. It's harder than you think. Think about it.
I'd probably go shorter.
So you would be how old? How tall? So you're 6.
I'll be what, like 2 feet 4. Yeah.
2'4". You want to live that life?
No, I'd be taller. But it's like then I'm 10 feet 4.
Yeah, and those folks that tall don't have a good life expectancy.
I feel like if you're shorter, you're less noticeable.
And that's what you're looking for in life?
Yeah.
You chose the wrong profession.
Yes, I remind myself every day.
Okay, so let's talk NOSFERATU. I can't promote NOSFERATU with all these other podcasts without Mr. NOSFERATU himself.
Yeah.
That's the character's name, by the way. It's Mr. NOSFERATU, right?
It's Mr. NOSFERATU.
Yeah. I myself am a big Robert Eggers fan. Any film fan worth their salt is a Robert Eggers fan.
Sure.
Did you follow his work straight from the start? The Witch, all in?
Oh yeah, yeah. I met Robert after he'd done The Witch. I saw The Witch, and then I had a general with Robert in New York 10 years ago, and just that movie blew my mind. I thought it was incredible. And then you going in, so you're excited for this general meeting, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
And then we had a bar in the East Village and a couple of drinks, and 3 hours later, I felt that we were destined to work with each other.
It's going to happen in a minute, and cut to 10 years later.
Sure.
Sometimes
it
takes
took
a while.
10 years.
So can we start with the general meeting thing? Because I'm fascinated by this. How often does that bear fruit? How often does it feel like you walk out of that meeting thinking that was worth my time? And how often is it just like, what am I doing?
It's sort of like a blind date.
Yeah.
You know? I've never been on a blind date before, but I've done plenty of general meetings.
Right.
So you don't know what to expect, and sometimes it's awkward, and sometimes you're not vibing, and then you're just, all right, well, thanks for this. I actually have to,
find something else to do.
Something to do. And sometimes it's, sometimes you fall in love, and that's how it is. So I've, and Robert was certainly one of those where I'm like, oh, I'm falling for this man, falling hard.
I need to get him on the podcast one of these days because I just really adore his work. And
yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible.
And look, he was a production designer, I know, and he's very meticulous. And I've talked to so many actors that really love just the worlds that he's able to create.
Yeah, it's a gift for an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, stepping onto these sets must be remarkable. But in terms of vibe, he actually seems way more genial and chill than his films would, I don't know, read for me.
Yeah, well, it's underneath the surface. There's a lot, you know. The movie is him.
That is a reflection of him. Yeah.
But he's a very chill guy. He's great. but he's into some weird shit.
You almost worked together with your brother as well, I believe, on The Northman. That was the first project that you guys really came close to doing, as I recall.
Well, no. So I met him in New York almost 10 years ago, and then he was doing Nosferatu. That would be the follow-up movie after The Witch, and I read the script, and the script just blew my mind, and I was like, "This is incredible! This is so him, and so great." And the script didn't change all that much. Like, it was so, I don't know, solidified his vision. And then I read for Aaron's role, Frederick Hardinger in the movie, and then he thought I could be good for Thomas Hutter, and I read for that, and I booked that. So I was supposed to be Thomas Hutter in this movie 10 years ago.
Who was the Nosferatu back then?
It was like Mads Mikkelsen, and there was a couple of names, and actually at one point Willem as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think Robert liked that idea, and whatever. The movie didn't happen, and then he went on and did The Lighthouse, and then The Northman that I was supposed to be in. Yeah. And we were in Belfast. We were screen testing. We were 2 days away from production. Yeah. And this was March of 2020. So you know what happened?
Can't remember. Did something happen that year?
Something happened.
So that falls apart. That must have been a blow at the time for various reasons.
Yeah, it was devastating. And I was really excited about it, and I was excited to work with my brother as well, and Rob, and then things changed, and I got, scheduling issues didn't work out for me. I was doing Clark, the show. Yep. That I was producing and developing in Sweden, so I ended up not being in The Northman, and then after I heard that he's going to follow up with Nosferatu after The Northman, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I'm Thomas Hutter, right? No, no, Nick Holt was. And then I was like, well, maybe Frederick Hardinger, I think that's a pretty sick role too. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Ellen? I'll take anything.
Yeah, Ellen. A rat. Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, maybe our relationship, like maybe he was, maybe he felt slighted or something, and I was like, okay, and then at that point, I wrote him a very shamefully earnest letter titled Visburg
Dear
in Flames.
Betrayer. Yeah.
No, literally. Wait, Visburg in Flames was the title of the email.
And this is after you heard other folks have been cast in these other roles, and you're like, is there
yeah, or it was just, I heard, they weren't official, but it was just like, you talk with your team, and I'm like, come on, man, and then, so I wrote this letter, and I'm like, he didn't respond. And then out of the blue, he did reach out, and he was like, I think you can play Orlok. And I was like, oh.
You see the real me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was like, because I know how much this movie meant for Robert, and,
of course,
and how personal it is, and in a lot of ways, it's his most personal work to date, I think, just the fact that he considered me for it, and then we had this sort of feeling out process of 10 days of. He shared with me his research and his thoughts on the character, and then I reread the script, with the third character in mind. I've read it with three different perspectives. Yeah. And I'm like, oh well, here's this is juicy, and then so we started, kind of having this thing where I would sit and record, and I had a good microphone, which helped because I could really play with the microphone and with the voice and everything. And then so we had a 10-day back and forth, which was also incredible. Sort of like a feeling out process, for Robert to feel out if I could do it, for me to figure out if I could do it, and for the wonderful studio execs.
Most importantly, the arbiters of great taste. Yeah. That is.
But it was important because I didn't know if I could do what he wanted, and for me it was most importantly it was the movie needs to be his vision and what he wants. But yeah, he was happy, and then it took 2 years post, booking the part for it until actually going into production. So at that point, I was like completely detached from it again.
Right. Had to rediscover it all over again, the voice, the whole thing.
Yeah. Literally, like almost like study what I did to. I don't know. It was very weird.
So for those that see the film, and everyone here watching and listening will see the film, you are of course totally unrecognizable in every facet, voice, image, etc.
Yeah.
That must be very freeing. Look, you had that to a degree in other roles. Pennywise, you're unrecognizable, but this is even almost another level of transformation.
Yeah.
Does having gone through what you went through with Pennywise prepare you in any ways? Not necessarily the kind of character, but the prep and what's involved and just the transformative properties.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And yeah, it helps. And I've done it before, and sort of mask work is what it is in a way. And you're the getting into the characters is a different process, because you're kind of looking at like digital images of what the character's going to look like, and then sitting in your apartment just trying to figure out, okay, that's the look and the voice and all of it. So it's a kind of an abstract place to begin with, and then once you get the prosthetics on the first time, you have to kind of figure out how your face is translating onto the new face,
right.
As it were, and it's a thing where like Robert rehearses a lot. So him and Jaron, the cinematographer, and the actors, they block out every scene.
Right.
So
By the time you're on set, he knows where one's moving. Yeah.
I even he storyboarded the whole movie, and I had the storyboard, so I could like look at the scene we're doing tomorrow, and I can also go in. Here's what the camera's gonna do,
right?
Because and it's shot in sequence, which is very cool too, because it's not coverage.
Right.
At least from all my stuff, there wasn't really much coverage at all. It was like the camera's doing this and this and this, and then
so each time around you get to play through the whole scene essentially.
No, not. I mean, sometimes
no?
there's a couple of scenes in it where like you do the first third of the scene.
I see.
Because the shot does this.
Yep.
And then you pick up from that point, and the camera will do that.
Got it.
So it's a whole kind of ballet of dancing with the camera, and it's a very sort of collective, creative process that way.
Can we talk about the voice aspect? Because my sense from our past conversations and all the stuff around Pennywise, etc., you enjoy altering your voice and look at the character too.
Yeah.
But like voice in particular feels like a fun way in for you. What are how many shitty paths did you go down before you found the right sound for Orlok?
I think I went down much shittier paths with Pennywise.
Really?
Yeah. Because I really explored all the different ranges on that one.
High, low, everything.
Yeah. And it was a much more of a kind of explorative process. Robert had been, thinking about this movie for so long and this character that he was very specific with what he wanted. So and he writes it in the script. It's one of those things that's amazing. All these like little tools that it gives you, because the descriptions in the script are little clues for what the character is. So the breath is there, and there's descriptions of the character. His voice is inhumanly deep, and but there's a fragility. There's a description of that. There's almost pain when he speaks. There's pain to it, and the breath of this kind of asthmatic, sick lungs. So all of that was there, and then through conversations with Robert, I had which is also, again, it's not restrictive. It's a tool for an actor, because you go like he points you so clearly to a certain direction, and then you go, okay, what can I explore in that space, and what we did on this sort of 10-day. Exploration for the camera test was pretty close to where we ended up. Now I got a lot better. Like the voice got a lot deeper, and I got much more technical with accessing the voice, but a lot of it was there.
Yeah. And then in terms of the look, again, sounds like he probably had very specific ideas in mind. Did you have any specific notes that you wanted to bring to the table that ended up in the finished product?
No, and it's the same thing. Like he shared me, his little Orlock file, and he'd made a digital drawing of his Orlock that pretty much, this was 2 years before we started to shoot, but that pretty much looks like what he looks like in the movie. Wow. So that was, and of course Robert is he's really into this kind of stuff, but he's also such a research dependent filmmaker and creator. So what he wanted with his version of Nosferatu was a Nosferatu that's steeped in Transylvanian folklore. Right. And he's like, okay, what did a 16th century Hungarian, Romanian nobleman look like? And you look at paintings, right, and they all have mustaches and different haircuts, but there's the shaved bald head with the kind of, that was the thing, that there's a lot of paintings of people wearing that. So these became, inspirations for the look and the development of what this character ended up becoming.
You're only as good as obviously the actors you're playing opposite, and they have to, you can convey a weight to this performance, but they have to convey the fear and the reactions. It sounds like you just even stepping on set in this guise elicited immediate reactions in your fellow actors. Did any of the first moments on set jump out at you as a memory of working with any of your fellow actors? Of the impression you made on them?
I essentially only work with Nick and Lily.
Right.
I have one scene with the wonderful Simon McBurney as well.
Amazing, yeah.
But yeah, and Nick and I mean, it was very early on in the shoot, we did the Thomas coming to Count Orlock and entering the castle. That was one of the first things that we shot. So I think both Nick and I were more scared of screwing up than
the actual evil of Count Orlock.
You're worried, and it's a tense situation, and you want to deliver for Robert and for the film and everything. So I don't know. I mean, you would have to ask them in terms of like what I do think that Lily was like actually pretty scared of the look of the character, and she's funny enough the one that's actually not scared of him.
Right, I was gonna say.
She's kind of into him.
I feel like we've all gone through like a vampire phase growing up. Like I was, I'm gonna age myself, but I was obsessed with Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like I knew that movie. I still probably know that movie by heart. Unbelievable what old.
The Coppola one?
Yeah. Unbelievable movie.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Did you have a vampire phase or film or depiction of Dracula or Nosferatu that really connected with you as a kid?
I'd say the Bram Stoker one. Yeah, Coppola's one. Yeah. Love that film. But I've seen, and of course like the Bela Lugosi one.
Sure.
And of course the 1922 Nosferatu. Yeah. And Herzog's Nosferatu, Kinski's Nosferatu, if you will. Right. Yeah, and I've it kind of goes in and out of vogue. It seems like the vampires but like Interview with a Vampire, and like all those films.
And you were a big Twilight guy. Everybody knows you were the biggest Twilight fan out there.
Of course. Yeah. And True Blood. I mean, whoo.
Hey. Few people love sexy vampires more than Bill Skarsgard. You had that fan page for a while. You were both Team Edward and Team Jacob, which was odd.
Yeah, I was rooting for both of them. Can't we all be friends?
So I reference Pennywise, obviously Nosferatu. I mean, these are two iconic evil characters, for lack of a better term. Like, are you anxious or reluctant to kind of like almost complete the triumvirate? Because like I feel like you could only do, Joker or Voldemort. Like that completes the trio essentially of evil in film potentially.
The trio of evil. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Like it's yeah. I think for me, like in terms of iconic horror characters, Dracula's
hard to
king.
beat.
He's king. So yeah. In terms of iconic horror characters, none has been portrayed in so many different ways and so many different times. Someone, a reporter, told me there's been 170 adaptations of Bram Stoker's novel.
As you said, it also the flexibility within that framework is actually what I think stands out. Because we've seen so many different. This your iteration is so starkly different than anything else I've ever seen.
Yeah, and there's been some great ones. There's been some great ones. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't set out to become this.
God made me this way.
No, but it wasn't like, because I get people are asking me, it's like if it's if this was like a conscious sort of like a 10-year-old me's dream, and it wasn't. I'm an actor and I like to perform and I do think that the transformational aspect of performing is something that I've always liked.
Yeah.
And even way before I'd done horror or these type of kind of monster characters, I just love the process of like transforming, like finding the voice and like so I think that's the through line more so than like the kind of horror creature aspect of it.
It's the ability, and for, as you well know, for someone your age, your type, for lack of a better term, this is not the usual path. I mean, this has been such a gift. It really has.
Sure.
I mean, like, if it doesn't happen, your age group, whatever God has given you, you don't probably get as interesting roles as you're being presented now. You've been able to show off a different side than most actors your age.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, it's a blessing, man, and I thank you. Like I don't know, because I do feel like I'm in my own lane.
You are.
In terms of, which is like nobody's driving here. Well, it's nice. It's
nice. My crazy clown car off a cliff again. Yeah,
no traffic.
Like, do you get presented the square-jawed vanilla hero much? Like, is it just that you're not interested in that, or that people aren't thinking of you for that?
I don't know. I don't. I guess people. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's not. I don't have like a ton of those kind of. Yeah. Clean jaw. Hero types. But I think. I don't know. I think that. For me, it does, like, genre doesn't matter.
Right.
Like the character, whatever the script is, needs to like speak to me and resonate with me.
Yeah.
And I think that that if it's like I've never, I always rooted for the bad guy in the conventional sort of Hollywood movies, because the heroes I never believed in them. I don't think that they're real. Like that type of like idealized, flawless hero.
Yeah.
And there's something vain about wanting to play the hero. That I think I've been, in a way, fighting against a little bit. Like, I don't know, I think weird is interesting.
Totally.
I think when it's fucked up and complicated and messy, I tend to go like, okay, this is a challenge, and it's instinctual,
Right.
It's instinctual why you're drawn to certain types of stories or characters. Like, you read a script and you can go like, not for me.
Yeah.
And it's a gut feeling, really. And you can dissect the reasons for why and sometimes, but when you read something and you go, oh, okay, I can feel it happening inside of me. That's usually the starting point for me to explore the character.
You've had an opportunity. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've done the It TV series by now. Have you shot?
Yeah.
Return, the Welcome to Derry.
Yeah.
So a couple questions on that. I know we're probably keeping a lot under wraps, but for a time you weren't associated with the project. There was question of whether you were going to return. Was that a big decision? Did you have to kind of like really wrestle with coming back to that character?
Yeah. I felt like I was done with it in a way. It was also because I was shooting this, I was doing Orlok, and to me it just felt like, okay, this is the nail in the coffin on my monster roles, pun intended,
Right. Right.
So I did feel like I was kind of over it, and just wanted to do different things, and of course like the Pennywise thing as well. It's like, I've been quite defined by it.
Right.
And I was like, I just like, all right, that's
Yeah, you did it.
26-year-old me, that silly young man.
I get it. It's like, I mean, what more can I do with it? It did a lot for me. I got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing it
Yeah,
again?
I thought, exactly, a little bit. It felt like that. And then things changed, and it's Barbara and Andy, the Muschietis are doing it, and
Right.
I was like,
That's a big
I
part
love
of it,
I
sure,
love
yeah.
them. I love them, and they're very close friends. Family even, I'm the godfather of his son. So, I love them, and then that was like, all right, let's bring him back.
Let's dig in. And now you're an executive producer on it, so like it's
Yeah.
out, you have skin in the game in terms of like really trying to like make it rewarding for yourself and everybody.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. And there's parts of it where we got to explore sides of old Pennywise that we haven't seen, and that's fun. And then I remembered how much I enjoy working with Andy, and we do have a lot of fun together. So
Yeah.
So I think there's some cool stuff in there that we haven't seen that I'm excited for the people to to watch and enjoy, hopefully.
Is it as scary, you think, as the films? Like, do you go as far? Can you go as far on television as you did in the films?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hardcore, man.
It's not the G-rated Pennywise.
No. No.
That would be a no.
That would be a no. Yeah.
And the voice easy to come back to? Or again,
yeah, he's
there. He's just
always
waiting.
there. Yeah, no, I was talking about, I don't know, like, I was talking about it. Like, I mean, I had the same thing when we were doing it too. It was like, we're doing this motion capture or performance capture test, and this was months before we were gonna shoot. And I thought it would just be like, okay, we're just doing a test. Like, I'm just gonna go there, and they're gonna like, I'm gonna just do facial expressions or whatever. And then like, I'm in LA and I'm like having drinks with my friends. And I'm like, yeah, this whatever, it's test tomorrow. And then Andy texts me and he's just like, so here's the scene. And it was just like this long fucking. I'm like, whoa, what do you mean, like? And he's like, well, I want you to perform the scene, and it was like a lot of dialogue. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how this is gonna go, because I'm out drinking with my friends. No, okay, but I don't know but it was a test, but I didn't know how easy it would be for me to access him, and then immediately he came through. So it was the same thing now.
You mentioned performance capture.
Probably.
If till your dying day, you will have Pennywise ready.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Before I go out, one more time. Anyone need Pennywise?
Yeah.
You've done a little bit of performance capture, motion capture. You did the little thing in Eternals as well. Which,
Yeah.
do you enjoy that? Like, do you find that freeing? I've talked to some actors that really find it like back to basics, weird black box theater, and others that it's
I've explored it. I mean, I don't know for that one in particular, but like I think like Andy Serkis is one of our true greats, and see how he has developed motion capturing and performance capturing, and he's a pioneer in the field now, and also in the tech behind it. And,
Totally.
And I just love how he just like, there's an audition for a voiceover character in The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And then that just changed his trajectory in life and career.
Talk about making the most of, he's a true pioneer.
Yeah, and there was like, okay, and then they thought it was like, oh, let's bring him in. Like, it's actually better to have him perform there.
Right.
And then they started developing the performance capturing for the first time ever for those movies. And then he fell in love with it, and you've seen what he's done.
Yeah.
So And I think it's cool. Like in terms of transformative performances, it's so badass, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's badass.
Those the Apes films are unbelievable. What he's done in there. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like, and like, again, like voice and stuff, like that's him. I don't, you know, and I feel that, like, I know what it is, you know, I know how, like, I think he should be lauded more, or like, or whatever. Like, we haven't seen like an award really for those performances, but like, man, he deserves it. And because I know what he does, I know what it is, and and finding like Caesar's voice in that or whatever, it's like he's so great. So I'm up for it, you know. I'll play an ape.
Were you a? I know I heard you say somewhere you were a Bond kid. Were you a Lord of the Rings kid? Like, what were your?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, man.
All the way.
Yeah, all the way. Yeah, hardcore. Like, yeah.
Has the timing worked? I'm trying to think. If you went Hobbit, you were probably still starting out. Like, have you gone up for any anything in that universe at all? And
No, haven't gone up for anything. And you know, I don't know. Like, but I'm a fan of.
The original.
The original. Yeah.
Nice.
And I like, you know, like, I don't know. I think I was 11 or something when the first movie came out, and I'd read all the 3 books. So I was like, you know, like,
you were
as excited as I've ever been for a release. Like, and you remember everybody was camping outside of the theaters.
Of course.
Yeah. I wasn't camping outside of the theater, but I saw it, you know, the next day.
So that you were into that. You were into Bond as a kid, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Who was your Bond? Was that Pierce Brosnan days, or is that Daniel Craig? Like, what's the?
Yeah, this is the 1996 GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Played the video game?
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Nobody was allowed to play Oddjob because he was too short. Do you remember? Because then you had to like strafe down, like, and you couldn't really like. You just shot by doing this.
Amazing.
Because like, I don't know. Nobody was allowed to play Oddjob.
I thought you were great in John Wick 4. I will say that as the marquee.
Thanks, man.
Never trust a guy with that many vests, is what I say, right?
Yeah.
I talked
It's not the vest's fault.
Well, it's not a good sign, I feel like. He's paying too much attention to the vests. Did Chad try to get you for a different role originally? I feel like Chad Stahelski said that he was not sure it was the marquee for you, that he wanted to work with you.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. He, no. I mean, I'd met him, like, I met him a few times before. But no, he approached me with that, and I thought it was cool. I think when I read the script, the Marquis was written as a lot older.
Right.
You know, sort of like silver-haired, like older, you know.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, and he was like, yeah, I think you could be cool for it. I'm like, all right, cool. So it was fun.
I feel robbed you didn't get to fight Keanu, though. You didn't get to actually go toe-to-toe with Keanu.
I know.
Feels like
the Marquis,
missed
you know,
opportunity.
yeah, he's a bit of a coward. He has other men do shit for him, you know.
Right. That's a sign of real power.
That's in a way, yeah. But it didn't end well for him.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You do still, I guess, technically have your Marvel eligibility card, because we mentioned Eternals, but that's like a bit thing. Deadpool, too tiny little bit thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Were you a comic book kid? Is that something of interest? Crow
Yeah,
feels
Batman was mine. Yeah, I was like a Batman kid. Batman was my superhero
Can we
growing
talk
up.
to Andy about, because he's potentially doing Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. It's I don't know exactly where he is with it, but yeah, so that was cool, and yeah.
Would you rather be Batman or Joker at this point in your career?
Maybe both. I can be sort of a schizophrenic.
Warner Brothers, you can save money, one actor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In this one, Batman is Joker, and Joker's Batman. Yeah.
Finally, a new twist.
Like, you know, when actors do that when they play like twins, or like, you know,
I love that.
It sounds so exhausting because you're like shooting and changing outfits, and then you're like acting opposite yourself.
This feels like.
I don't know, man. Like I think, you know, I'd be a fucking cool Joker in me probably somewhere. I think that would be pretty sick. Yeah, man. I mean,
Who's your favorite Joker of all time? There have been some great ones.
Yeah, Heath.
Keith is
an
all-timer.
Yeah, and it's also like, I don't know. I feel like as you're aging, the performances are not as iconic for you anymore. Do you feel that as well when you're 16 and you see something
It hits
like,
you. Yeah, the stuff I saw exactly.
You know what I mean?
In your teenage years is
it's
embedded
so,
in you.
Yeah, and then it's like, because it meant so much to you at the point. And and yeah, so like I don't know, I can't remember. I was like 17 or whatever. Like, and then that Heath performance, and then he passed away. Like, you know, he
It's
passed
frozen
away
in
before.
time because of the nature of what happened.
Yeah, and you know, I was an aspiring actor, and to me, Heath was like, he represented everything that I wanted to be, you know. So his passing and that performance really hit me hard at that time.
Well, and it makes sense given the nature of our conversation about the kind of stuff that you've been doing and transformative roles and stuff that really like pushes boundaries. I mean, he was that. He could have just been a heartthrob for the rest of his career if he wanted.
Yeah.
And then he plays the most fucked up version of the most fucked up villain ever.
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, he did so many sort of character performances. Like, So yeah.
One thing I noticed, and you can set the record straight or not. Did you get a chance to audition for Lex Luthor? Did you get a chance to meet with James Gunn? That's not a true story.
Yeah, no. I was like home, and then it was like there's like rumors that me and Alex were like competing for this. I was like, nobody's called me. Like, what the hell is this? Yeah, I never read for it, never talked to James. Yeah.
What's up? What did you ask your brother? Did he?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's like a publicity stunt.
That's
just
bizarre.
Like,
it's good fanfic to think of you two fighting for
the
same role.
Yeah. It's never happened so far.
That's crazy. Okay, so you kind of you didn't quite manifest, but the general meeting with Eggers manifested this 10 years later. Who are the directors right now that you're obsessed with that we should manifest for the 10-year project down the line?
Every time I get this question, it's just blank.
Really?
And then I go home and I'm like, oh,
okay. You want me to just throw some out at you? I mean, are you a Denis guy? Are you Guadagnino? Are you Ari Aster? I don't know.
Yeah, Guadagnino would be sick.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, like I love what the Safdies are doing. Like I want to like, Sean Baker. Like I don't know, like, you know. So and then when you work with, you know, a great like Robert, who's so creative. His films are moving oil paintings, and it's you know, it's so, you know. Then you just want to like, it's just, you know, a handheld camera and just like loose shooting.
Go the other way.
You know?
Yep.
But there's, you know, and yeah, I'm working with Gus Van Sant next, which is exciting, you know.
Huge.
So that's, you know, a massive fan of him, and that's very cool. That's very cool.
He's gotten some iconic performances. He's worked with all the greats. I mean, the 90s and 2000s of his work is like, you could put that on a shelf. It's just all-time stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's, you know, it's always, it's project dependent, and you know, you need to kind of, and it's sort of, you know, I think the more I trust my gut, and it's sort of in an organic way, things start to materialize with sort of who you collaborate with and stuff like that. But I'm literally going through my head now, because every time I'm like, that.
You gotta keep the cheat sheet on you. What about actors? What's the last performance you saw that blew you away? Or who in your peer group is someone that you're like, they're doing it right?
I mean, I think this cast, man. This cast.
True. This is
in terms
great
of
collection.
Of like my peer group, or like Emma Corrin and Aaron and Nick and Lily. I mean, Lily's performance in this movie is some of the most powerful, committed, brave performances I've ever seen.
Yep.
And she's just a baby, you know. So she's a freaking force, man, in her bravery and her talent, and so yeah, it's been a privilege to work with these people, and also to get to know them, and then of course, and then you have, like, you know, I've been doing like interviews with the great Willem Dafoe, who's one of my, you know, one of my absolute, you know, favorites. So
and seems to have so much joy in the work. Like, he loves what he does.
He still loves it. He still loves it. It's it's an inspiration, man.
Yeah. Is the Lords of War movie still happening? Nick Cage will be a fun one to mix it up with.
Yeah.
I could see you two vibing. That feels like he's another one that just always pushes, always tries for something crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh my God. Yeah. He's a legend. and it looks like it's happening next year. It looks like it's happening next year, and it's it's a great script, and I think it'll be a fun one. The character is he's charismatic fucking asshole. And you saw the first one,
Great
it's
movie.
like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
it's so cynical and
Yeah.
so like satirical and bleak, and like everyone's terrible. But it's also
Perfect
kind of
for
a
our
dark
times.
comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I like that. I like when you laugh at terrible people. Like when you, it's like, yeah. So I think that'll be a fun one. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end with this. The happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions. Bill, you ready?
Oh boy.
Dogs or cats? Ooh.
Yeah.
What? You hate all animals, is what I'm getting.
No, I grew up with dogs and cats.
Okay.
So I'm sort of a dog and cat person.
Okay.
Like I think they're like the polar opposite of each other. I think so in terms of like I love cats, but I also like love dogs.
Sure.
But I think a better question is, are you a dog or a cat?
Wow. Okay. Fine. Are you?
Because I think I'm a cat.
You think you're in what way?
I just think so. What do you think I am?
Sure. I don't like the way you're staring at me right now. Have you thought about this before? You've noticed feline tendencies?
You can categorize people as like dog or cat spirits.
So you're not loyal because dogs are loyal.
Or you can also no.
You're skittish. You're kind of like.
I'm like I'm a narcissist. Yeah. No, it's just like kind of an energy and a feel. I don't know. It's like because you can also do vampires and werewolves. Like what's your kind of spirit? And I'm vampires and cats go hand in hand, and wolves and werewolves. I think I'm a vampire.
I'm going to revise the profoundly random questions.
I think
for the next
you
person.
might be a werewolf.
What makes you say that?
Because you have a beard.
I was going to say one of the few masculine traits I have. I have to
But
go
do you
with
like
it.
cats or dogs?
Dogs. Big
Your
dog
dog
person.
Yeah. My dad, we always had dogs growing up.
Yeah.
And he'd say, over my dead body, that a cat, I'll let a cat into my house.
Wow.
Because they're evil. I mean, they're a bit evil cats.
Well, there have been evil dogs too. Cujo.
Sure. But I mean, dogs are, they speak, they speak our language a bit more. Cats doesn't give a shit. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
A dog loves you. A cat doesn't love you.
Right. So
It
you don't
just
love.
needs
You don't give a shit. Again.
No, this is not. This is more of a spirit thing. Not
You're the one calling
I'm digging
yourself a
myself
cat.
into a hole. Like
You
I'm okay. I'm a dog person. I like dogs.
What do you collect, Bill?
Huh?
What do you collect?
Not much, man.
Minimalist.
Yeah.
Okay. Wallpaper on your phone?
Huh?
What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Just generic stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Who's the last actor you were mistaken for? Ever happen?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never like been
No, that's not true. I've been mistaken for my little brother Walter,
Okay.
who's an actor.
Well, there you
So
go.
yeah, and also Alex.
Right.
But I don't know if they think I'm Alex or they're just like, something Skarsgard, you know?
Right.
I guess my two brothers.
Did you ever get Peter Sarsgaard? The really confused people?
Well, I mean, they think he's like I work like so. Stellan worked with I don't know if Stellan and Peter ever worked together, but he would always hear like, oh, I work with your son,
Right.
And it's like, oh, who? Like, oh, Peter, and it's like, oh, no, that's not one of us,
Right.
And then now, so he would say this like, and then now, the more I'm working, I hear people going, I work with your dad, I love him, Peter, he's great, and I'm like, no, and
Right.
I know Alex has heard, your brother Peter's. Is terrific. So I'm sure Peter's he's an honorary Skarsgard. I'm sure he's sick of it. Yeah.
The true shortest
I love Peter
Skarsgard.
Skarsgard,
No,
so
he's
I
great.
will take him.
He's great.
Yeah, just put the K back in.
Worst note a director has ever given you?
Worst note.
Yeah. It was
I
not
don't know.
helpful.
I don't know if there is bad notes.
Is there a kind of note generally that you just find super not helpful?
Yeah, I hate when like, the more insecure the filmmaker, they can
talk more,
they
right?
talk more,
Yeah.
and they could be like, they could just go like, and they just talk about like the psychology behind, like I'm like, what do you want, like
Let's
just get to the point, like it's just but so it's like the lack of notes or filmmakers, directors are trying to just have opinions because they feel like they should have an opinion because they're a director.
Right.
And like I've done TV, so you've had like TV directors, and you kind of chew them up. Like every episode's a different person, and so like which is kind of a great school for you because you get exposed to a lot of different directors. But I don't like that, and I also don't like. I love when filmmakers kind of just like, oh, I'm not sure. Like let's figure it out. Like to dare to say that they don't know.
Right.
Is because saying that you don't know is the first step of finding.
Collaboration and
finding something.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Yeah.
And finally, in the spirit of happy, set confused. Happy. An actor always makes you happy. You see them on screen, you're in a good mood.
Like Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good answer.
Jim Carrey.
Another good answer.
I like when I'm when I'm feeling blue, I can watch Jim Carrey in the '90s like talk show appearances.
Yeah.
Have you ever done? I mean,
I've seen what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Sure.
or
Just
his-
going
or his
crazy on
acceptance
Letterman
speeches.
or whatever. Yeah.
like it's just like the talent that man has is from a different planet.
I even
He's
like his
so
recent
good.
stuff. His recent, like, really, like, when he goes deep on a red carpet with a clueless reporter and he's just talking about, like, the
Jim Carrey
universe
doesn't
and-
exist anymore,
Exactly.
man. It's all an illusion. Like the self is an illusion.
And, like,
it's
the Access Hollywood person's like, huh?
Yeah. And they're like, all right. What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Exactly.
Yeah. No,
Makes me so happy.
he's profound, man. Yeah.
Movie that makes you sad. You have no tear ducts. You have no feelings. You're a cruel cat that has no emotion.
I'm a dog and cat person.
Okay.
I love animals so much that I can't pick a winner. Okay. And
late.
watching cats and dogs interact is pretty amazing. Because we had both cats and dogs in the same house.
Right.
So it was over my dad's dead
dead
body,
body, yeah.
and then my mom wanted cats, so we ended up getting cats. And then he fell in love with particularly one of the two cats.
I love that the most
Was it-
controversial thing that happened in this interview was the dog and cat take.
Well, you're making it because
No, it's not me.
controversial.
You're very defensive.
But
all of a
anyways,
sudden.
watching
You're-
cats
yeah.
and dogs interact is so funny, because cats like they fuck with the dogs, and the dogs are like I don't like dogs. Dogs lack integrity, I think.
What? What is wrong with you?
But do you know what I mean? Like they they're like a cat feels very like they're very proud in a way. Like, and dogs are just like they're.
But they're loyal and they have connection with human beings.
But that doesn't I don't mean to be like derogatory towards dogs by saying that they lack integrity. I just mean that they're the reason why we love them is that they
They need us.
They need us. They love us. They're very excited about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then cats. So like, what my cats would do is like they would just like jump up and sit on like on a shelf or something.
Right.
And then you would see like the dogs, and we had big dogs. So the dogs would just go by, and you see them going. And the dog's like, and they just get so excited because they think the cats want to play. But the cats they just want to
Fucking around, yeah.
Yeah. They're amazing. Cats and dogs are amazing. And the way they interact is something I found very inspiring.
So the movie that makes you sad is?
City Lights by Charlie Chaplin.
And finally, I promise this is it. The food that makes you confused, Bill. This food you don't get. You see it on a menu. Why do people eat that?
Oh, man, you're really hitting me with the hard questions.
I know.
Confusing food. Dogs.
Oh, unacceptable.
Huh?
No, that's not acceptable.
No, that's what I mean.
I know, but when's the last time you saw a dog on a menu?
I'm not gonna go there. I've never seen it on the menu. I don't know. Like, it's a joke. The confusing food. Like the people are kind of. Help me out here. What do you think is?
Well, I don't like I'm not into beets. I'm not into mushrooms. There are things I don't get.
You find beets confusing?
Well, the color is odd. It's an odd color on a plate.
Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty nice color, actually.
Okay, I don't know why you're being like this all of a sudden.
Well, it's just not... okay, so like, what's... because it was confusing, right?
Confusing.
Confusing food.
It's more of confusing that other people enjoy it. So it can just be something you don't like that you find it confusing. That why would anybody else find that pleasurable?
Yeah, I like. I like cilantro. I know
Yep,
cilantro
I'm
is sort of
into-
a big
I'm with
divider,
you,
and I don't know. Have you tried tripe?
I have. Yeah, I'm not big on the tripe.
Not a big fan of that either. I don't like that. There's like surströmming, which is like really fermented fish, Swedish fish.
Yeah.
It's like
Like the red Swedish fish you get in the candy? It's a bad joke.
Yeah, no. No, that's terrible. This interview's over. Yeah.
Very fermented.
Don't make fun of Swedish fish, okay? It's the greatest candy ever.
Actually, it is my favorite.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. No, but no, surströmming is fermented herring, and I think there's like videos of people smelling this and trying it and just vomit it, like just like it's like a montage of people, and it's rancid, and I think that is pretty. It's part of Swedish culture. It's like a Swedish delicacy that for some reason only like older, kinkier people tend to be into, because it's kinky, man.
Right.
It's like the rancid smell of a garbage truck in August in New York.
Speaking my language, my love language.
Don't you just want to like drink that?
I'm gonna go down the YouTube rabbit hole and watch the videos of people doing it.
Yeah. I think it was like a segment on Kimmel or something where there's like people just smelled it and gagged or whatever. I don't know.
There's your tip for the day, guys.
Yeah.
Go see Nosferatu and then learn about horribly fermented Swedish fish.
Yeah, and check out the 1922 one.
Nosferatu, yeah, tell me, Bill. Which should come first?
The first one. Do it in order.
Okay,
1922.
okay.
The Herzog one is fun too, so you can watch that. Yeah. But the 1922 one is like for all the youngsters out there.
For the kids.
It's cool. Yeah, and it's not long. Like There's like the early silent films that were like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. That's like 72 minutes. Like one. I don't even.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation or whatever. The first like.
Right.
Those ones are like, but an hour and a half, tight, man. Murnau knew what he was doing.
We did it.
Also, by the way, I think movies are too long. Now,
welcome to Hot Takes with Bill Skarsgard.
Remember when movies were like, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Loved it.
And like, why do they have to be 3.5 hours now?
97 minutes. If I see that on a runtime, I am a happy guy walking into the theater.
Yeah, it's great.
Although The Brutalist is really good, and it's 3.5 hours. I will say that.
I still haven't seen it. I'm a big Brady fan, so I'm excited about it.
Break it into 2 parts.
Yeah, there's a little intermission, right?
There is.
Yeah, nice.
We did it,
All right, guys.
Thanks, buddy. So fun.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.